Are we live? There we go. There's some messages. Let's see if anybody pops in here. Daniel Adami, you are first. Jason Perry, Little Viking Coach. Gary Santor Siri. Nataz. Hey, Nataz. I want to thank you for that band that you recommended. I have been listening to them on Spotify. I appreciate that. Pale Rider, what's up? Zach, Next Gen, Brian. We are live weekend. Tomorrow is Easter, and where everybody gets full of candy and sugar and eggs and everything else. Clyde, what's up? Yeah, they're pretty good. I'm on the first two albums are really good. I was listening to the newest album, and I can tell it's a band that's changed quite a bit. Daniel Adami, I tried to say happy birthday on your Facebook, but it wouldn't let me for some reason. So happy birthday from the cat. Happy birthday. This cat is going to meow throughout the live feed because he wants out, even though he just came in and he's been on all day. So we'll just pet the cat till he's out of here. So Big Road Little Truck, what's up? Ratman. Jason Perry, I tagged you in a post on Facebook. I meant to tag your like page. Hope you don't mind. It was just side by side pic of me. I haven't been on Facebook in quite a bit because where I was at, there's not very good signal. So, but I'll check it out, Jason. No, it's not a big deal. Anyways, I hope everybody is well, and we're under a load. Deliver that Monday morning. Trucker's Table, what's up? And really, the talk of the town, I guess, is a lot going on Facebook when it comes to the rate pages. Rican Trucker, people watching in Vegas. Very cool, very cool. Back on the road after a week off. Well, that's cool. Unless you didn't mean to take a week off. But been hanging out with family all day. And, I've got a 17-year-old son who's started to drive. So we let him drive all day today. So we're trying to teach him right. And other than that, it's been pretty quiet. As far as the business goes, I'm barely at my goal. Some of it's me, some of the rates, some of the areas I've been running. Other than that, and I cheated on my keto diet a little bit today. I had half a roll and 2 barbecue meatballs. So Dana Lamy, we are still on track to be. I want to try to be down to 250 by GATS. Right now, we're holding steady at about 280, 276, 280, somewhere around there. Now, those of you who are, Daniel Adami had this tattoo challenge where he was going to get Snow Alert tattooed on him if I got below a certain weight. That is off. No one's doing that now, so you can quit giving him crap for that. But anything you guys want to talk about? Ask questions, comments, concerns. Everybody's been talking about rates and everything. Just kidding, nipple ring. Son's got the cat. I already had him on display. So.
He's orange.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But guess I could have done a guitar live feed, right? But let's talk about something I did get. So here's how my Friday went. So picked up a load there in Oklahoma City, and it was a mud pit, and but they got it right. You know, usually when you pick up scrap paper, it's it's a crapshoot on whether they get the weight right or not. Um, anyways, got to the house, and a friend of mine that I used to give you a backstory. I used to ride BMX freestyle, right? And a guy that I've been friends with since the late '80s. He is a bike guru. Now we don't do BMX anymore, you know, obvious for obvious reasons, but um, he contacted me after my 100-pound weight loss, you know, thing and post on Facebook, and he said, "Hey man, I got a bike that you should look at." And so I went and checked it out, and this bike is awesome. It's a Salsa del Rio, del Mariachi. Never heard of it. I'm not caught up on what good brands they are there. Looked it up on eBay and other sources and saw that it was I was getting a killer deal. And I got on that thing and it was effortless. And that was how I treated myself to my 100-pound weight loss. Was I bought a bike. I used to love bike riding, but when you're close to 400 pounds like I was, bike riding is absolutely no fun. You're sitting there pedaling, it's hitting your gut, all that kind of stuff. So I was pretty excited about that. Maybe I'll do a GoPro thing, get one of those handlebar clips or helmet clips and do that. And then after I left my friend's house, my pickup truck died. Just died right in the middle of the road. Won't start. Still won't start. So I had it towed to a shop that we use. Of course, they're not open till Monday, so I'll have to deal with that. Come here, kitty. Come here. Why are you yowling? Provost, what is up, my friend? Is 353 a mile for 1,200 miles good if you're only getting 65% of it? Yeah. What's that come out to? Is that your gross number, that 365, or is that after your 65%? That's still 237 a mile. Oh, 353 gross. Yep. Yep. So that's still, what I say, 237. That's still pretty good, especially for 1,200 miles. That's pretty good. I'd say taking a run, unless it's got is it one of those loads with 83 stops? Did you check the coil packs on the pickup? If coil pack went bye-bye, it will die like that, not start again. I don't even know what the coil pack is. No, one pick, one drop. Well, you scored. You got a home run. Sometimes you can get a good holiday rate. Now, I know that if you're looking for a low Monday morning, you're going to be fighting people trying to get out of the house if they didn't book ahead. So hopefully, nobody waited till the last minute to book their loads for Monday. Big Houston, what's up? I saw you sneak in here. I was watching the live we did about 9 months ago. It's a big change in us both. Next Gen. Okay, so Next Gen sent me a screenshot of a live feed I did 9 months ago with him. Him and his wife were in Springfield, and I did them a favor by taking them to Walmart. And that was actually the catalyst, the root of when I started my low carb, high fat, diet. They were both telling me, a couple of things to look for. He showed me how to read labels, and kind of sparked that start right there. And I was wearing my ELD shirt, something about ELD that I got from Gats last year. And he said, you should wear that shirt. So I looked for that picture to come up. I'm going to take a screenshot of the live feed. And then, was that live feed on your channel or mine? Because I know we tried both. Next Gen.
Huh?
But it's going to St. Petersburg, Florida. Delivers Monday the 29th. So I got a week to find a half decent load coming out of South Florida. Well, there you go. That's a pretty good rate going into Florida. If I keep going at not shaving, I think by the time I hit 9 years old, I will have hair and beard like a Northern. Okay, it was yours. Okay, because I thought I made mine private because I was putting bad interstate directions on there. Okay, so I'll take a screenshot of that. And my beard's like about there in that live feed, so it's grown like this much from 9 months ago. But yeah, it's I don't know. I impressed my family members that haven't seen me, for a while today at Easter celebration. Let's see. Provost loved the 2020 Volvo. Yeah, Provost went out and got himself a new truck, and pretty nice, man. Pretty snazzy. Just needs some racing stripes, and he's good to go. I looked at seats there in Joplin, and I decided not to get one. I almost got one. I'm glad I didn't because we might need some money for the pickup. Anyways, I think I've ran out of stuff to talk about. We're only into this 12 minutes. I've been trying to cut down on my live feeds. Michelin Man, feel right. Chester National Lawn. Hey, Mr. S, watch you all the time. Usually on the road when you're on. Question: how do you do keto on the road? All right, it's a good question, Chester. I have a fridge in my truck, and I also have one of those Igloo cooler. They're similar to the Coleman, so a little bit more durable. I buy meat and vegetables I can microwave, and I use, which I need to do this. I use microwave, and I also use the lunchbox cooker, or pans to cook my food. But let's say that you can't make it to Walmart. So what tricks can you do? Well, there's two types of keto, okay? One is the completely clean, and those people get pretty serious. I am of the second variety, which is what they call dirty keto. The things that you can have in a convenience store atmosphere is the hot dogs, sausage, bratwurst, no bun, of course. No bun, no ketchup. Snacks include pickles. They sell packets of lunch meat in the refrigerated section. Subway salads can be your friend. Don't get any dressing that's sweetened. Ranch, blue cheese, olive oil. Those are the kind of things you can do. Boiled eggs, the bacon jerky. So if you can't make it to Walmart, there is stuff in a convenience store that you can have. A lot of times in the deli, I'll get the turkey legs, or I'll get the like meatloaf, or what's the other one I get? Oh, pork chops. A lot of Petros sell pork chops, not the breaded ones, but the regular ones. Um, so that's how you do keto. That's why it's easy to do the keto thing on the road, because you can order a triple cheeseburger from Wendy's and take out the bun, and that will fill you up. Um, and you can follow the same rules. No flour, no sugar. Is it ideal to do it that way? No. I mean, you want to try to cook in the truck as much as you can. But let's say you can't. Let's say you absolutely can't. You work for a company that won't let you put an inverter in the truck. That's where the lunchbox cooker comes in. Or if you don't have a fridge or a cooler, um, or you can't make it to Walmart, Subway salads. A lot of the Pilot Flying J's have salads. Um, just reducing your carbs to under 100 grams a day you will see a significant difference. So it is, well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. What part of that, Chester, do you feel that is hard? Because that was a mental roadblock for me for a long time. Jason Perry says, I haven't had more than 20 carbs in a week. My sugar has not been over 122 in 4 days. Most of the time, it is staying around 80 to 90. Hashtag keto life. Jason Perry, I am so happy to see you say that. Oh, well, yeah. Chester, Chester says, love bread and stuff. It's, and I get that. In fact, our Easter dinner we had today, I broke down, and these were homemade rolls, and I had half of them. My daughter was like, I can't believe we're going to eat that. But Christmas I had a homemade biscuit. It's not like I was 100%. There are keto bread recipes, Chester, but yeah, it's a lot easier to grab a sandwich from Subway than it is a salad. It's a lot it's a lot easier to grab a burger, and eat the bun and everything. And I get that, but what has to happen, in my opinion, is your perception of what that food does to you has to change. It's like with smoking or anything else. Once your perception of what that is doing to your body changes, then it becomes a little bit easier. And that's pretty much what I had to do. I had to change my perception of food, and I had to change my relationship with food. And you may love bread now, but it will not love you later. And here's the thing is that once you do this low carb, high fat lifestyle, and you fall off the wagon and you go back to eating bread again, you will feel it and you will see the difference. And when, the fact that how I feel now compared to how I feel about 9 months ago, it's a night and day difference. And that's what keeps me motivated to never fall off the wagon. Plus my perception of those foods. I'm if you look at bread the way it was made like 20 years ago, like bread was just better. The buns were just better. Now it's all air and cheap flour, and it's just not good. And then a lot of the wheat bread and stuff like that has the L-cysteine in it, which is like basically duck feathers, or uh, like wood pulp from the paper factories. They put a lot of that in that high fiber bread. So my perception of bread is just evil. And my little cheat on the bread part was the 2 times this year was homemade bread. So Hell Riders call them excellent. So I get it. But start small. if you have bread 8 times a week, have it 4 times a week or 3 times a week, and you will start feeling a difference. So, hi, Mr. Snower. Happy Easter to you and your family. Happy birthday, Daniel. I ate some cake, but I can't. LOL, Pale Rider TV. Let's see. Trucker Stable. I'm cutting back on my boudin because of the rice in it. Still eating my andouille. Man, I'm going to butcher that since I'm not from the South. Sausage. I actually had some boudin balls last week. That's one of my splurges. You got to have a splurge every now and then. Jason says, Chester, I took it slow for a couple of weeks. I would cut one thing a day and now feeling great. And I'm doing it on the truck. And Jason's a big dude, so it's not like he's getting out walking an hour a day either. A late check-in. Hey, Brent, how's it going? No, I don't eat any bananas. Bananas are bad. They spike your blood sugar pretty good. Big road, little truck. No bananas. Jeff says, hey, Steve, happy Easter. You can eat the real bunny, but not the chocolate type. Yep, that's true. I remember I had French toast 2 months into the diet. I almost died. I had a big headache. Never again. Right, next gen. And there's a keto bread recipe that's just like French toast. Here, I'll be right back. All right. For those of you who still want sweet things but are on the keto diet, this is what you need to get. Okay? This right here. This taste acts just like sugar. If I was to put this on on something that you were eating, you would not know the difference. You would think it was brown sugar. There's no aftertaste. There's none of that. This stuff is awesome. It's expensive. This bag was like $4. But when you get away from sugar for a long time, a teaspoon of this is like kicking your butt, and it will not affect your blood sugar. This is the stuff. It's zero glycemic right there. This is the good stuff. So if you are trying to wean yourself off of sugar, this is perfect. You can put it in your coffee. You can put it in your tea. You can, now the keto bread recipe, check it out. Write this down. 3 tablespoons of flour, almond flour. That's the important part. 1 egg and 1 tablespoon of either butter butter or olive oil. Put that in the microwave in a dish, spray it, with Pam or whatever. And you want the olive oil style of Pam. 90 seconds, boom, you got a piece of French toast that's way better. So I've been talking about this stuff. People like monk fruit, what's that? But this is what it is, man. And it's made from erythritol and monk fruit extract. So for those of you who need a sweetener, this is it. This is what you do. So just put that out there. Was wondering, because my doctor put me on 2 bananas a day. Why did he tell you to eat 2 bananas a day? Is it for the potassium? Because there are better foods for potassium. If you need potassium, avocado is the way to go, Big Road. All right, let's see here. But if you like French toast, man, that bread's the way to go. Okay, everyone, now it's time to talk all the smack you've been wanting to talk about Snowlord. I'm used to that. I don't have a fragile ego. Food is the easy part, drinks are the hard part. Thanks, Steve, for the info. My son and daughter-in-law lost a lot of weight on keto. Yeah, so you know what works, Chester. That's the thing. If you're on Instagram, type in hashtag keto transformation, and you're going to see story after story after story of how it works. Now, other YouTubers have called this trendy, but you know what? This weight is coming off at a slow rate for me, like about, a pound a week, pound, maybe 2 pounds a week, but it's staying off. Come here, kitty. And and it's a lot easier to maintain, but it's not just about weight loss, it's about how you feel, and I feel amazing. So that's what keeps me motivated. Everybody at Matt's was asking me, how do you do this, how do you do this, how do you do this, how do you stay motivated? It is easy to be motivated. And today I went on a bike ride and I didn't get tired, I didn't get winded, I felt great. So that's the key, and I did this without exercising. That's the other thing. And I'm starting to incorporate that. I'm starting to do my walks at the truck stop, But like I said, when you're 400 pounds, the last thing you want to do is put all that stress on your joints. You have to change what you eat first. That creates the health, that creates the weight loss, and then you can start working on the other things. Natural lowering on blood pressure, supposedly into 2 different types of fiber for stomach upset. Big Road, I would look at avocados. And then as far as blood pressure, garlic. Garlic is the way to go on that. Garlic and water. Avocados are great for potassium. 2 different types of fiber. Avocados got fiber too. So you hate those worse than bananas? Well, I mean, here's what you can do. You can Google search foods that help lower blood pressure, right? And just look them up. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, stuff like that. Jeff says, take care of your legs, brother. Knee replacement is a whatever that emoticon is. Yes, I agree. I've had knee surgery, not to the extent of what you're talking about, Jeff, but I have had knee surgery, and that was years ago, and that was a lot of it because of my weight loss and an injury I sustained in a football game back when I was in middle school. It finally caught up to me. But bike riding's a nice, low impact. That and swimming. Those are your 2 best bets, but it's hard to find a pool, But yeah, 400 pounds doing power walks, man, you're better off just losing the weight first and then work on. You can do strength training, which will burn calories, that kind of thing. But I get the challenge, Chester. I really do. I get the challenge of not eating bread. Anybody who hasn't watched it, I would suggest watching The Magic Pill on Netflix. I firmly believe that there are other things in the works as far as what our food does to us, but we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get our foil hats on. So, but yeah, Jeff got me some pans, and I need to grab. I only put 10 in my truck. I need to put another 10. Because I don't want to carry around 50 pans in the truck, or it's 100 actually. Jeff is very generous. Oh yeah, this is 50. So, yeah. But your foil hat is ready. How do you control a population? People are blaming vaccines. People are blaming all these different things, right? But you control a population with diet. The corporatist society that we have now, food over our health, and they can make money on both sides. Nestle owns food that will kill you, and the stuff that the doctors use to get you thin. So think about that. Brian just watched it a few ago. Cool. A few days ago, I'm assuming is what you said. The real challenge is putting yourself first. You have to make a choice. You want change. If you say I can't, you failed from the start. Next Gen brings up a good point. Okay. I'm gonna get all sappy with you guys, right? You have to love yourself. You have to give a shit about yourself. Because if you can't change yourself, I mean, you can sit there, well, I got healthy for my kids, I got healthy for this, I got healthy for my wife, that kind of thing. But the reality is if you're doing it for someone else, you'll look at it as a chore, right? And eventually you'll hold resentment to them. You have to do it for yourself. And there's a little bit of self pride, and what I found is I was slowly committing suicide with food. Think about the people that you see that are in those big Walmart carts, electric carts, and they're like 400 pounds or 500 pounds, and they got nothing but a cart full of Dr. Pepper and zingers and chips and stuff like that. That is a person who has given up on themselves. And I get it. I used to deal with depression on the road. I used to deal with guilt about being out here and not seeing my kids grow up. I've tried to find the perfect balance of money and home time, and that's a challenge. That's the main reason why I'm an owner operator, is because I think that makes that challenge a little bit easier, despite all the challenges of owning a business and keeping a truck afloat and all that. You have to love yourself, plain and simple. And your perception of yourself has to change, and perception of food has to change. Because face it, our culture teaches us to eat, 4 or 5, 6 meals a day. I know people that eat out every single meal that aren't even truck drivers, because it's more convenient, it's easier, and I get it. There are times when you need that simplicity, convenience, or whatever. But in the end, it's about choices for yourself. And NextGen is a huge success story. I mean, he's done wonders. Follow NextGen on YouTube, follow NextGen on Instagram, and you will see the results that him and his wife are having. Anybody need encouragement to lose the weight and get in shape, it can be done, and you can get fit. Thanks, I lost it. Walked 6 to 7 miles a day, 3 days in a row with my family. Right. And that's the other thing. So now, once I started loving myself and realized that I'm better, I'm better than how I was treating myself, then, it benefits my family if I can go to amusement parks with them and not have to sit every 5 minutes. It benefits my family if I can go camping with them. Because a 400-pound dude sleeping on the ground just isn't fun, And I'm trying to be encouraging, and not preachy, and it's just. But sometimes I'll come across that way because I'm very passionate about this, simply because I feel the changes that it's done for me. And you guys have seen the changes throughout the videos. Hell, I'll go back to one of my old videos. I'm like, wow, I have lost weight, because a lot of times I don't believe it, and like today we go to my my wife's family for a holiday meal, and we all gorge ourselves. It's just, and I leave there every year miserable, and this year I didn't, and I feel pretty good. And it's little changes like that just they add up, and and I still had fun. I still ate pretty much anything I wanted, and and I feel good. So the way I've been helping the mental side of changing my life is this is Jason Perry. my life and how I look at foods is how I look at it and say that that's a bag of death, that's a 20-ounce bottle of death, and look at it like I'm going to eat and live. Right. And Jason, that goes back to what I was saying um, about changing your perception of food. I did it. Steel Horse said I did it for me because I was embarrassed of myself. Steel Horse, I'm telling you what, dude, my confidence level on how I feel has definitely shined through. You know, I can walk into a truck stop or into a restaurant with pride, um, and I feel better about myself. It's given me a lot of self confidence, and I'm not embarrassed anymore. You know, because when your kids have to help you up off the floor, I'll sit on the floor and play video games with them. You know, but then they would have to help me get up. You know, or I would need help getting up out of a chair, or just embarrassing stuff like that. And I feel that I've come past that. You know, so that's another part of feeling better. It's given me confidence in a lot of different areas. You know, it wasn't until some of the weight loss that I wanted to play guitar on YouTube for you guys. Um, I have more confidence talking to people. Um, I have a lot more confidence in general. I feel like I'm more confident in everyday things like running my business and doing stuff at home and all that. Chester says I was looking at some of your old videos and it gives some motivation and inspiration. Right, Chester, and I appreciate that because that's why I went to Mats. You know, I went to Mats to hang out with everybody and I had fun, but at the same time, I almost didn't go. And I thought, you know what? If people saw me in person, maybe they would be, I don't know, maybe they would be like, man, that's okay. Let's see what you're doing, Steve. And it's happened. Um, James Best, he was freaking out on me and my weight loss because he hadn't seen me since GATS. And it was cool. It was fun. And I did that today with some of the family members. Nothing like taking a shower and sweating when putting on your shoes. I'm happy them days are gone. Next gen, right? That's part of that little thing. It's like take just like you said. When you break into a sweat just putting your shoes on. Not being able to tie your shoes correctly. It's just it's awesome to not have that. Right, trying to get in a booth at a restaurant and you can't breathe. That was one of the first signs that I was losing weight. Was I met up with Daniel Adami. There's a Waffle House here in Springfield that has truck parking, and we met up. And of course, there's really nowhere to sit other than the counter. That's not a booth, right? So we get in the booth, and I'm squeezed in. Have to suck in my gut. It's very uncomfortable. Well, then what was it, Daniel? 6 months later, we met up again, and he was like all like nervous because I gave him a little crap about, yeah, he made me sit in the booth, and I could fit in the booth. It was awesome, and Daniel was like, well, can you do the keto thing, Waffle House? Heck yeah, man. You got bacon, sausage, 4 eggs, um, 4 eggs. um, I think I had tomato slices instead of hash browns or grits, and yeah, you can do keto at Waffle House. Now, is it hard, with the smell of the waffles and everything? Yeah, but again, when you feel as good as I do, those temptations aren't there anymore. I know that feeling, Steel Horse. I'm embarrassed of how I looked in pics of me walking my daughter down the aisle at her wedding. There you go, Jason. Michael N., what's up? My wife and I are going to be starting the keto soon. I've watched Magic Pill twice and had my wife watch it too. Awesome. Awesome. You got any questions, Michael? You got my number. Um, and it seems to be, I'm trying not to make this channel a total health YouTube channel, but it's the elephant in the room. You guys see the results. I feel the results. And, I've had blood tests, the whole 9 yards. So, but, don't let the naysayers tell you that you can't do it, because that's one of the best things about this is that it's easier to do on the road than you think. It really is. Even if you can't make it to Walmart. Because there are times when I only go into certain Walmarts with the truck. If I don't know the Walmart, I'm really nervous. If I go by that Walmart and I see that there's like 20 trucks in the parking lot, then I'll write that down for future reference of where it was at, and I'll have confidence to go in there. However, if I don't see a truck in there at all, I will not go in there. So I'm limited. I run a lot of the same areas, so there's only like 4 or 5 Walmarts I'll actually be brave enough to take my truck in. Because you always hear about like in Georgia and Kentucky, they're putting the boot on your truck or the windshield cover thing. You pay a fine or whatever. You got some places like in Ohio and everything that city ordinances that you can't have a truck in there, that kind of thing. So there are times when I don't make it to Walmart, for a week or so, or 2 weeks actually. So you gotta improvise, and that's what the best thing about this thing is done for me is I can improvise. Watch me, 32 inches. No, you're not first, Gary. Pop up. Oh man, but yeah, it's really doable, guys, and we're all here to support each other. If you're on Zello, go to hashtag that's trucking, and anybody, I think the guys at Zello get sick of me talking about it, but it seems like, yeah, my family gets sick of me talking about it, but I can't imagine. Like maybe I ought to start my own Zello channel, but that always ends horribly. People like, I hate this channel, and then they leave, and then they end up coming back. So, because it's fun in our channel, but you can always, go into our main channel and say, hey, Steve, I want to talk to you privately. And then we'll go to a private Zello channel and we'll talk about the health stuff if you want. So that way I'm not annoying everybody. But there are many people in our channel that have done the keto thing or are doing the keto thing, and they're being successful with it. So Brian says, bro, take it easy on Pop Pop. You had to spend money on a toll road today. Pros, when are you coming back out? You ready to put that truck into service yet? I was watching your video. I remember when I got my brand new Volvo as a company driver. I had to. The dealership forgot to undo the fuel valve, so I was only using one fuel tank, and it got very annoying for our fuel solutions person. Next week, awesome. I think the rates have gone down since you've been out here. I know you've been off for a month now, but it's weird. I've done some decent rate per miles in the last week, but I've also had a couple of gaps. I was doing really good about not having gaps between loads, but I've been kind of unsuccessful at that here lately. Yeah. Gaps is what kills you. This whole sit. Jeff brought up a good point in his live feed. I believe it was last night. Yeah, Pale Rider TV says you can talk keto on his channel. Pale Rider TV has his own channel, and I bet you can't guess the name of it. I believe it's Pale Rider TV, but Jeff was talking about people that sit for 2 or 3 days to wait for that perfect load. I tried that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I tried that. I was home too much because of that. Because if you don't find your load Friday morning, let's say you get home on Thursday and I look, I don't like what I see Friday. Well, I'll grab something Monday morning. Next thing you know, about Monday at 9 a.m., everything's leaving out Tuesday. And if I have an attitude about what I'm going to pull and what I don't want to pull, then guess what? I probably don't pick up till Wednesday morning. So that's what got me in trouble. And I'm still recouping from that. It's there are lessons that we learn the hard way, and it is a lesson that I've, and I should have learned it before because at Landstar that was a struggle for me as well. But it's about how much you profit over a longer period of time. You can't just look at each load individually. But Gary says 3+ years for me. 3 years of what? Keto? Yeah, Provost has done the keto thing. Jason Perry's on our channel. He's done the keto thing. Gary has done the keto thing. And, and there's a lot of good replacement recipes out there, too. That fuel situation once happened to Big Road and me. We were in the Volvo as well. Yeah, they like to shut them valves off underneath the fuel tanks there. Just no salad talk from a grown man. The law of supply and demand. Yep, Steel Horse. That's the simplistics of it. There's more trucks than loads. There are people that left the security of their contract freight or their company job and switched to having their own authority or becoming owner ops in the spot market. And which I'm in that list, because I went from Schneider to here. And and that created a capacity issue. Ramblin' Man says Dr. Berg is awesome. I'm glad you said that. That reminds me. So Little Viking Coach, he commented on one of my videos and he said, go to Dr. Berg's newest live feed and watch in the 10 seconds. He was actually the first person in his live feed, and he got mentioned by Dr. Berg, which Dr. Berg's got like millions of subs, right? And if you watch the live chat feed in Dr. Berg's videos, it goes so fast. I don't know how he reads comments. But Little Viking Coach was first. It was awesome. Kimasabi says, I like Dr. Ken Berry. Robbie Jones, I watched the Trucker's Table. His videos are awesome. I agree. But, Kimasabi was talking about the carnivore diet with a lot of the diet talk that, he and I were having. Gats, he was talking about the carnivore thing, and Little Viking Coach just talked about the carnivore thing, and yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, Dr. Ken Berry is really good too. Thomas DeLore is also a good channel as well. DeLauer, I think, is how you spell it. Say it. Couldn't tell you how to spell it. But Trucker Jim, if you guys follow Trucker Jim, he's doing the keto thing, and he lost a considerable amount of weight from Gats to Mats as well. Because I saw him at Gats, but I didn't really talk to him a whole lot. But Mats, we talked quite a bit. And I might have been in one of his videos or two. That and Trucker Rudy. Trucker Rudy, I think, makes some changes to his health as well. Rates, hang on to your britches. It's going to be a bumpy ride, but I am game. Bring it. There you go, Provost. I've read a couple of articles that seem legit when they talked about the rates. I do believe that they are not going to get better. So I believe that you have to establish what you need to establish now. And hopefully you've made some relationships with brokers or shippers to create consistency, because consistency will be key in service. So when you can show a company great service, then you're willing to negotiate higher rates. There are loads that I've done this past week that paid better than the same exact loads last week that I did. Because again, I'm a man of repetition. I like doing the same stuff over and over. And sometimes it bites me in the butt, sometimes it doesn't.
I almost made a dirty joke out of that, but I didn't want to because you're on the internet. So
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I was able to negotiate a little bit better service because I'm good about emails, I'm good about check calls, I'm good about not griping when I got to put MacroPoint in the system, on time delivery, not falling off the load, that kind of thing. And that becomes important in these times because now you're competing against everybody else. Everybody else is like, oh, if drivers would stop taking low rates, they would come up. That is not true. Because if that was true, Florida rates would never be as low as they are, because hardly anybody pulls out of Florida. They just deadhead up to Georgia, right? But it's all about supply and demand. And right now, demand is down. So you got 2 loads for every truck. And that guy that's desperate to move, he will undercut you and you will sit. So, now, do you need to undercut all the time? No. Do you need to be that guy that's on the JB Hunt app and, bidding $1 a mile because the other guy's at $1.30? No. But at the same time, you have to find the right balance. The click and go apps make it easy, and you can pretty much create your own consistency with relationships with brokers. You can ask Jeff. I think for the last 2 months, I've run for like probably 6 brokers, 6 different brokers. So money spent on new clothes is nice, but fitting in clothes you haven't for years is priceless. Steel Horse, yes, and that is starting to happen with me. Step outside of your circle, yep. Kimasabi says it's really good for autoimmune disorders. That's interesting. Yeah, Kimasabi, your wife and I were talking about some of the keto studies she's done, and I thought it was pretty interesting because she talked about a lot of stuff that I hadn't really heard about, so it was cool. Isn't all about money. It's a lot about service, right? You can't sit there and be late on your loads or be that guy that here's what happens sometimes, right? Especially in this e-log world. You call on a load, they say, well, it picks up at 8 and it delivers at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, right? Let's say it's like 630 miles. And let's say you're 200 miles away from the pickup. So you call in at load. Yeah, I can be there by 8, no problem. And you get there and you just barely squeeze in there or something like that. And then you don't get the delivery till 10 a.m. the next day. And you talk about, oh, I had a flat tire, or you just booked it without any regards to what your hours will let you do, and then pay for the consequences later. So what that's done is you got brokers that will now fine you for late deliveries or all that kind of stuff, because drivers are grabbing loads that they can't even really do legally, and so they just hope that they'll take them late, stuff like that. And so service becomes really important because if you have 2 drivers with the same truck and the same hours, but one is late anyways, or one doesn't do any check calls or anything like that, and the other one does, well, that the guy that did the better job they might slip him some more money the next time he does that load, or hey, I helped you out on this load, help me out on that load, that kind of thing. Click and Go, I say no. Steel Horse, I don't know about that. I can get some good rates off of Uber at times. Kimasabi, she is like an expert. She could probably teach a class on keto and carnivore. She's just done her own YouTube channel there, Kimasabi. Big Girl Little Truck, something I forgot about that, but I remember it now. You said it with the fuel tank thing. It was a fiasco. I have brokers call me all the time to take their loads. See, Chester, that's a good point, because if you find yourself, here's what a lot of people do. The more successful people out here, they're not even on the DAT board. They're checking their emails first, or they're emailing the brokers that they know have freight for them. And there are certain brokers that I've used that will call me first before it actually hits their load board, or they post it on DAT or 123. So sometimes you can get an upper hand on that. So if you're delivering great service, they'll call you or they'll email you first before they post it to the public load boards. And that is a huge advantage. That gives you an upper hand, because face it, when there's 2 trucks for every load, you have to show an upper hand of one form or another. It's either your negotiation skills or your people skills, or all those kinds of things. There you go. There. The other cat was in here. I was going to show you guys the other cat. We have lots of animals in this house. We really do.
Not as many as we used to.
That's true. But anyway, so Provost is right. It is going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a challenge, and the people that survive are the people that have their act together. I don't even know if I'll survive, because I feel like at times I don't have my act together. I could tell you how much weight I lost. I could tell you, about service and everything else, but there are aspects of my business and my health that I still need to improve on. So, there's that. And if you survive this, if you survive the lower rates and you survive a downturn, then you're golden when things are really good. But we are almost at an hour. If you guys got nothing else to talk about, we will end this in 60 minutes. And it was good. It was good to do a live feed from home for a change. And, like I said, we've all had to make adjustments. Done a couple of 34s on the road, which that wasn't a thing before. And then I've been picking loads that go through the house, not to the house. So that's kind of, on-time delivery is number one. You're absolutely right, Steel Horse. Oh, and the other thing is that I like about relationship with certain brokers is that I can call them up and say, hey, I notice that your load says it picks up at 8, and then he'll find out if it's really like maybe 8 to noon, something like that, or there's an open window. So normally where I wouldn't pick that load, now I know I can pick that load. So stuff like that. And and I've taken a hit on a few loads, but then they've taken a hit on a few loads. So it's a give and take situation. We have Himalayan and Persian cats and sometimes kittens. If I remember correctly, Himalayan kittens are very fragile. Like you can't feed them certain foods. They are prone to disease because it's like that whole purebred thing. The very fragile breeds of cat. Is that true, Steel Horse? I had an aunt that had a Himalayan kitten, and yeah, they had to have all these precautions. You can't just slap a can of cat food on the floor and call it good. We have 3 cats. one that absolutely hates me, so he's never around when I'm home. And the other two, we got as kittens from a friend of mine, and they're full size, but they still act like they're kittens. But any other questions or comments or concerns, guys? If not, I'll be out of here. I hope everybody's having a safe Easter. If you're working, I hope you're making some profit. And I know if you guys at Snyder, you're low board list right now because the low board was down. So, but anyways, guys, don't forget what's important. You know what's important? You. So, see you.